Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Pineapple Chapel. I'm Anthony Golden Sunshine, and this is Ask the Shaman. I want to thank you all for being patient this morning while I handled some technical difficulties. And technically, I was sleeping. Good morning, everyone. Let's see what's going on. 1 million Buddhas. Good morning, y'all. I just poured my pour over coffee and made a huge mess to start my day. Okay, well, there must be a reason for that, Mark. Everything happens for a reason. Good morning. Hope everyone is warm and safe this morning. Well, I'm definitely warm. I'm definitely safe. Thank you. What is the temperature this morning? It's about 10 degrees where I'm at. It was 7 yesterday, so a little colder, but very cold. My ice bath is frozen solid out in the driveway. It's frozen solid. It's a big ball of ice. Spilled coffee, a lesson in mindfulness, methinks. Could be. Maybe just the floor needed some coffee. I don't know. Good morning, Mark and Jill. Ha! I pushed the pour over to the absolute limit and more. How cool is that? Yeah, me too, Mark. So just getting ready for today. Late start. I did get up earlier. I got up at like 7:20. And then I decided I was going to lay back down. I've been doing some like sleep experiments. I don't know if anybody here has ever played with lucid dreaming or anything. So I've been a lucid dreamer my whole life. Started when I was pretty young, far back as I can remember. And so we got yawn about to come up. So lucid dreaming, that started with me pretty young. That started with me. So really, really kind of strange thing was sleepwalking. But I was aware that I was sleepwalking. So essentially, this is kind of, let me try to paint the picture of the scenario. So I would be asleep and I would be observing a different reality than the one that I was sleeping in. So my mom usually would mess with me pretty good. So I would get up and like sometimes I'd be eating a fake like an imaginary sandwich, or I'd be walking around doing things, but there was like nothing there. And then my mom would be asking me, "What are you doing?" and this and that. And so I'm like, I don't know. I could have vocal communication with other people while I'm still in the dream. That was the thing. So I was like, I didn't really understand back then. I understand a little bit different now because I understand when I'm in a dream state that I'm in a different vibrational reality. So, this goes back to, I've been a shaman my whole life. I was born very sensitive energetically. And even as a young person, those interactions, that sleepwalking while I'm in a dream, but I'm having a conversation with someone in this dimension. That's an ability to kind of be in two places at once. And there's lots of people that have this. And what I do believe is all humans have the ability to develop it, because I've worked with a few different people and had them do some things that kind of worked for me to hone my skill in the astral space, in that lucid dreaming space. And one of them is, and I did last night, was this glass of water trick that I used to do. It came up again recently in my reality. I think we were at an event recently and someone was talking about lucid dreaming. And so what I do is I get a glass of water, I drink half the glass of water, and I repeat in my mind, I'm going to remember my dream. I'm going to remember my dream. Because this is also for, part of it was for, I was doing for dream recollection, recalling dreams. Because often I'll come out, I remember a lot of it, but I want to remember more. So drinking half a glass of water, I'll remember my dream. I'll remember my dream. I'll remember my dream. And then in the morning when I wake up, I drink the other half a glass of water. I say, I remember my dream. I remember my dream. And I sit there and right after I drink the water, I kind of go through what I remember of the dream, which is quite often a lot. Not always. It's not always super consistent kind of thing. I don't have like full control over it, I guess. Um, and then so what started to happen was I started to have the ability to, in my dream, I could find a glass of water and drink it, and I would know that I'm in my dream. This would take me right into the lucid dream. And got me better and better at finding myself in the dream, because that's the whole idea with lucid dreaming, is for you to become aware that you're in a dream. And when you become aware that you're in a dream, you can start to manipulate it. So quite often in my dreams, um, I can do all kinds of really amazing things. I can't usually always fly. Sometimes I can, but what's a common theme for me is being able to jump or bound very far, like 100 miles I could jump. I like jump off into the sky and then I land somewhere really far away. And then that one time got me in trouble in one of the dreams, because I went and I jumped out straight out, went north, and I ended up over Lake Erie. And I was like, oh no, I got nothing to land on. I was like, all right, well, worst case scenario, I'm going to have to drop like a sinker all the way to the bottom of the lake and jump back out. Well, I did. I went out there and I went all the way down to the bottom. And when my feet hit the bottom, I went to push. It was like muck, and my legs just got stuck in the water, in the mud. And like, I woke up from there. So that was probably one of my astral lives, is gone now, but it sure was fun. Um, so astral travel is secondary to that. That happened to me later. I started to be able to astral travel in about 2020-ish is when I really started to be able aware of astral travel. And what that has to do with is really getting familiar with your astral body or your energy body. And someone say, well, how do you do that? Well, first, it's forms of meditation. The breath was really big for that, and it still is. Like the breathing is the A1 thing for me and for most people, to help us regulate the state of our emotion, the state of our mind, and the state of our brainwave frequency. So that's the first step. And what I usually do is I do extended exhales for that. Like I'll get really oxygenated first, like do a faster kind of pace that's like circular. I'll do like 3 or 4 rounds, 50 breaths a piece. So like that, using the belly, the chest, and the head. I'll do some holds and things. I like to be creative. And then what I do is I take it into extended exhales. So it's more like a smell the flower, an extended exhale. Long. Soon as I do that, I start to feel this expansion happen. Try that out. Extend your exhale. Breathe in, fill up your belly, your chest, your head. And that with a slow kind of, I like to let it just softly leave, hiss out like a flattening tire. That slow exhale switches you to parasympathetic mode. So slow exhale tells the body and the mind that you're safe. I'm safe. The first thing. I'm starting to kind of go now, so I got to kind of back off. So what starts to happen as I first oxygenate and then I start to slow down, everything starts to kind of move and change. And then so what can happen is if I'm not really careful, I can kind of exit out of this. I'll stay here. This physical part of me stays here, but my spiritual self starts to kind of wander. And then I have to pay attention. I can balance. I can be out of body and in body at the same time. It's like sort of like bilocation, but that's going into the next level. So first is that breath. And then what I started doing is in my meditation, I would start moving my fingers, but not my physical fingers. Okay. So you can try that. Let's try that. Let's do a few more breaths and let's try it. So I want you to relax your body, open your hands, put them in your lap. Okay. And we're going to take some deep breaths. Deep breath. Long exhale. Deep breath. Long exhale. Good. Once more. Deep breath. Long exhale. Then relax. And what I want you to do, perfect. Bring your awareness to your hands. Feel your hands. And I want you to let your physical hands stay still, but I want you to use your mind's eye and disciplined imagination and begin to wiggle and move your spiritual body fingers, your light body fingers. And you don't need to see them or do anything else. You just have an awareness that's as if your fingers are moving. And so this is light body calisthenics, kind of how I start off. And then what I do is I start to move around my spiritual hands, my energy hands. And I'm rotating my wrist, moving my fingers around. And then I start to move the entire arm up to the elbow, up to the shoulders. And for some people, that's totally enough to start with, is first just getting your spiritual arms. Eventually, what we do is we start to move the whole body. And then I say, can you get up out of your body? Can you move? Can you just slightly converge from the center of your body? And right now, as I'm doing that, I'm beginning to converge out from the center of my body. So anybody's energy sensitive, you may be noticing that my aura is starting to split. Because this is what will happen. I'll be able to come out of my body and part of my aura becomes mobile. Now, I'm not really out all the way of my body, just a little bit. I'm going to stop there because sometimes I kind of drift off. I don't have full control over it yet. And if you do come out of your body, try to not be afraid and try to just imagine that you're controlling your breath. You're probably not going to feel your physical body all that much when that happens. The common fear is that I'm going to get too far away from my body and I won't be able to come back, or I'm going to come out of my body, I'm not going to come back. That's a normal fear. If you have that fear arise while you're doing the practice, that's okay. Just you're not going to. You can't get too far away. You're tethered to this thing. And after a little while, you'll become aware of there's like a cord or a tether at your navel, this long silver cord. And if you get too far away from your body, you can find that cord and you can pull it. And if you pull it, it's kind of like a rubber band. It'll snap you right into your body. So now we're going to bring our awareness back into our body. Imagine that if your spirit body was moving, it begins to settle and drops in. Mine always comes in and it falls in like a soft feather. And as it makes contact and you come back together, you're taking in a slow, deep breath. And relaxing. That was fun. So do you guys understand what I'm saying? Has anyone ever tried that before? Let's talk about that. Lulu. Hi, Lulu. Morning, all. How do you Northerners do it? Send me some heat. Not used to this cold. My house doesn't even have heat since it's always hot and hotter here. What's temperature where you're at there, Lulu? Yeah, it's pretty cold up here, 10 degrees. I'm sad because I put my ice bath. I set it up outside because I figure it's plenty cold enough. And I'm just going to, free ice baths. And like 2 or 3 days after because, it's been a pretty mild winter. So it's like, usually I don't put it out because it freezes over. And then a couple of days later, it freezes over. I mean, my whole 120 gallon tub is a big ice cube, like frozen solid. It did like overnight too. It's only been cold for like 2 days here. So it was really something. 20. Yeah, well, that's pretty cold for there. Pretty cold. But that's global warming. I know people say, what do you mean it's cold here? Well, that's a side effect to the poles being warmer. It lowers the jet stream. And then so people in the south are getting more northern weather. Okay, so that's a side effect to what we see as temperature change or climate change. I'm not one of those people like, oh, global warming, this terrible kind of thing. It's a cycle that's kind of normal, and that happens. I had an experience at a sound bath. I was lying still and felt my legs to move, and my legs were not moving. Well, were they or weren't they? My physical legs were not moving. Good. Work with that, Mariana. Next sound bath, see if you can get up. That was fun. I may add that to my daily practice. I recommend it. I mean, you want to get good at being able to begin to astral travel. And even if it's not just for that goal, being more in tune with your spiritual body, being more tuned with the light body, because it can do all kinds of things. And the more you play with it, the stronger it gets. Like I said, I'm not like, I don't know anybody that can really use it more than I do yet. I'm sure there's people. But also I'm aware that I'm very early still. I still have development to happen before I really, really master it. I can come completely on my body and go different places in that astral space. And over time, I've been able to kind of go further and further. And then sometimes it's often what happens when I'm meditating is I'm moving, separating physical and ether body. But yeah, it is fun. It's lots of fun. Even if it doesn't really, that's the thing. People are like, well, I don't know. Is this real? Is this my imagination? Yes. Yes. But your imagination is the key to unmanifested light. So it's not just your imagination. It is your beautiful imagination. Because, that's a big misconception in the Western mind is that your imagination is somehow, I don't know, unreal because it's not represented in this vibrational form and this idea of physical. But it is living energy, just like everything else. And it's your ability to be able to manifest, to be able to create. Speaking of which, we had a great time last night in our manifestation group. So I want to talk about that for a second. We have 3 groups I'm teaching a week. There's meditation that was on Sunday. Yesterday was manifestation. And then I believe Thursday this week is going to be breath work. They may all switch days around, but I'm going to be teaching 3 workshops a week. These are full out workshops where we're sitting here and I'm really going deep into the understanding and mechanics of meditation, deep into the understanding and mechanics of manifestation, and deep into the understanding mechanics of breath work or neuro-respiratory training, because there'll be some added pieces. Besides the breathing, I'll be installing also some mindset techniques to work with as well. So it's kind of like breath work mindset. I call that neuro-respiratory therapy, NRT. So that's just something that I've developed and I use in my clients and things. And I'm going to continue to develop it. I like to develop different ways. I have my ABS method and my NRT. That's these are things I use on myself and with others, and they're very, very powerful tools. So you want to check out, if you can, one of those workshops. I'm going to just keep doing 3 a week for a while until Spirit tells me to not do it anymore, because that's where it came from. Spirit said, I want you to do 3 particular classes, because these are things we all need. We all need meditation because that helps us to control our state. Meditation is control of state and mind and emotion. And then, the next thing would be manifestation. That's our ability to create. But first you have to be able to meditate to be able to effectively manifest, change your state, so that way you can vibrate with what you want to bring to you. And then third is breath and mindset. So that's important for training the mind. So one, the breathing that opens up it opens up the ability for neuroplasticity, for change in neurology, and then also oxygenates the body. And there's lots of other benefits to diaphragmatic breathing. And then we couple in with that some mindset work. And then what you're doing is you're having big shifts in behavior change. You're meditating, you're manifesting, you're breathing and mindset working. Powerful, potent tools for anyone. Okay. This isn't just for the spiritualists. This is for anybody. This is for anybody that wants to begin to create change in their life, big change. Because I can't think of any tools that you could put together that could work for you more efficiently to help you shift. Imagine how powerful you can become when you have full control over your faculties, full control over your choice of your mind. You know what happens there? A big shift happens. What happens when you have the ability to begin to vibrate into the world and begin to bring to you through your vibration what it is you truly want and need? That's amazing. And then what happens when you start to learn how to daily use your breath and your intentions, your self-talk, your words to reprogram your mind to work for you, to make yourself the most successful version of you? Wow, right? So these classes, they're not just like, I didn't just wing it. I didn't come up with it on my own. This was something that was channeled to me through spirit. It showed me the vision. It showed me, because I ask all the time, like in my prayer and in my meditation, I ask spirit all the time, help me to be the greatest vessel. Help me to be the greatest vessel of light to share with others. So that's what came up. That's what it showed me. And it's been beautiful. It's been teaching me a lot as well as I've been doing it with others. Because when, meditation is a powerful tool. When you do it in a group, it multiplies it. Manifestation, powerful tool in a group, it multiplies its energy. Breath, mindset, all those things in collective groups create more energy for us to be able to work. Let's see. 20, let's see. I experience where Jill says, can you touch someone and they will be aware of the energy? Well, yeah, it depends on the person. Absolutely. Big time. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've touched you and you've been aware of the energy. Yeah, so it's up to the person if they're open enough to receive. Sure. I mean, there's times I can touch people and they leave their body and go in different places. I can't say that it's Anthony. Anthony would love to take the credit, but it's my spirit. That's what it is. So yeah, absolutely. There's there's lots of people that send me emails and things. They can see my energy field here. There's lots of people I meet and I'm the first aura they've ever seen. I know some people that when they see my aura, they're kind of blown away. Like, what is that? Like, I have a very different kind of aura than a lot of other people. And this isn't because I'm not like everyone else. It's just because I kind of train mine. I work with mine. So it's a little more expanded. It's got a little bit different fractal patterns and colors in it than it used to where it started. And it happens to everybody. When I watch other people move through the ascension and start to really connect higher into their frequency, I notice the same thing. There's changes in the Paqo or the luminous energy field. There'll be different patterns and pieces and new lines and roots, because how I perceive it pretty much as like a ball that's like fractal patterns in a nervous system that surrounds us. And then connected to the ball is a whole bunch of other lines and stuff connecting to the rest of the, universal nervous system. I don't see like straight lines. Some people do. They see it more like a grid and there's like straight lines. It's very grid-like. Mine's different. My awareness is more everything's like a nervous system or a root system. Everything's connected, like just like you, just like all your veins and nerves, roots of trees and branches, they all kind of, it seems like it's like when I look at a tree, right? Like before I could see, I would look at the tree and I would think it's just kind of random how the stems grow, but that's not true. It's following an energetic pattern in that energy grid. It's following a pattern. A tree doesn't stop at the tips. That's where it ties into the ether. There's more tree that goes off. And if you're able to see that, you'll see like, holy cow, trees have the most expansive energy fields I've ever seen of any other living thing. The expansive, because one, that root system is down. Big tree has a big root system down into the ground. And so it spreads off deep into the layers of earth, into the lower world. And then you have that trunk. And if it's a big tree, it has a big trunk. It's taking up space and energy in the middle world. And then it reaches up into the canopy. And then, you would think at the tips of the branches is where the tree ends. It does in the physical idea, but it doesn't end there energetically. It continues beyond. I love trees. I love to work with trees. I like to meet trees. The great thing for you to do, and this is what I tell people, is don't just go into forest and just put your hands on trees generally. What you want to do is you want to step into the tree's energy And then you would say, if you can't feel the tree's energy, okay, or see it or sense it, if you're not aware of the tree's energy, all you need to know is, like, you get within 6 or 7 feet of the tree. Or another way is the size of its canopy is about equal to the size. The roots are generally a little bit more expansive and bigger, but you're in that general vicinity. So you're walking into the energy field of the tree. And then what I do is non-verbally, I'm asking the tree, may I enter your space, is what I'm saying. May I enter your space? The tree loves that. It's very respectful. I never had one say no. Please come into my space. And I'm saying in my mind, may I touch you? May I put my hands on you? Yes, you may put your hands on me. And that's where I like to put my hands on the tree. And then I connect with the energy of the tree all the way down into the roots. And you're slow your breathing down. I don't even need to actually touch the tree to be able to connect with its energy, because all things are connected. But when you're out there in the forest, you can ask the tree, may I enter your space? You're developing a relationship. And that's something I teach in my shamanic studies is I tell people to go find a tree that's near you and start to develop a relationship with it. If my students keep up with their practice, I don't know. That's not up to me. That's up to them. But I do teach that. I teach a lot about trees, and I'll teach more as I move through. They're one of my most powerful tools as a shaman, as a nature mystic, is working with trees. I find them to be deeply healing for all levels of being. They have great, great wisdom. And they're connected to all the other trees in the forest. Okay. Mycelium. So when you're touching trees, you end up connecting into forest that's all around you. Everything's alive and around you. And if you allow yourself to connect into it, it can begin to communicate with you. And, this is how the ancients did all kinds of things. They could communicate to each other through the trees, through the mycelium over distance. Not so much, it's not like telepathy as it's signal exchange through the living medium, which is the forest. What else was I going to say there? Trees. Communications. They can totally be used, as we further develop, we could use trees for communications, but that's not it. We can use everything for communication. We can even use modern technology besides this. All right. So that's something that I share with a lot of people is your intention drives all energy, and you can use everything on the planet. And I love to tell the story about the time where I was doing some nature work on an overlook, and one of my spirit guides kind of tapped me on the shoulder, and way off in the distance was a radio tower or a cell phone tower. And I was like, yeah, cell phone tower. Said use it. I was like, what do you mean use it? Use it. Send Sami. Sami means refined light energy. Send a wave of Sami to it and allow it to expand and spread out. So that's what I did. So that's what I did. I could see over the tops of the trees and the little mountain. The thing had to be 3, maybe 4 miles away from me. It was far away. So that's what I did is I took in a few breaths and I closed my eyes, and then I focused really tight on the tower, and I sent my intentional energy towards it. And I can see my energy when it moves. Other people's energy too is moving. I saw it go out over to the tops of the trees, and it made contact out there with the tower. It illuminated the tower, went up to the top, and was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Started to vibrate off of the tower, and it came back over the trees and came back to me. So I essentially created an energetic and ethereal circuit in that sense. And then it said, now connect more of them. Like, are you serious? So as we drove from there, every time I seen a radio tower, like I've always had awareness of them because I can feel them. So I have awareness when it shows up. So every one that I would become aware of, I would, again, send my intentional Sami towards it. And it would kind of light it up like a Christmas tree, and it started to create a web. So now I've been training that, and everywhere I go, I'm connecting with those things. And now I have a bunch of other people that are doing it too. This can effectively raise the spiritual intelligence of the entire place, because we're sharing that living energy. There's no way I can do it. I don't know how to do it any better. I know how to radiate energy from myself, but what happens when we all get good enough and are able to radiate energy through everything? Computer screens, phones, just waves, radio, like a radio station, and you're getting played these tones and tunes of vibrational unity. changes everything. I don't know the implications of all of it yet, but it's pretty amazing the journey I'm on. Okay, I think it's time to try lucid dreaming too. Good. You should. I love to work on that. Sometimes I can leave when I meditate. Sometimes it takes more work. It's going to have to do mostly with the current condition of the nervous system. So usually when there's more work, it's because there's more blockage. You'll notice that. When the more inflow of light you are unblocked, the easier it is for you to leave the body and move around. The first time I was going to do energy work on you, I was like, whoa, huge and powerful field. Yeah, I have a very different kind of field. It's I don't mean different like I'm different than everyone else. We all are different per se. Mine's different. That I don't know anyone else that has a field like mine yet. I know there are. I know there's other ones. I'm totally aware. I'm totally aware there's people. I've seen some people on television because I can see field through any picture or medium. I can see the fields if they're captured. And I've seen some that are really, really amazing. Some really, really amazing fields that I would love to intertwine with. All of our fields kind of mix together. Okay, they all kind of intertwine into oneness. So your field is my field is your field. The best thing you can do for anyone is continually develop your field of energy. And how do you do that? Doing the work, the inner work mostly. Mostly your expansion is behind the stuff that you're avoiding. And then, doing simple things like breath work, mindset training, balance training, cold water immersion, just doing something new every day. Can you find something new to do? Try writing with your left hand, brush your teeth with your left hand. Those are things you're doing something new. Like those are just really minor kinds of things. But I try to get everybody, try something new, especially if it's hard or uncomfortable. And what I tell people is, there's things in your mind. I want you to pay attention how you talk to yourself. When you find in your mind, there's things that you think, well, I'm not good at that, or I can't do. Those are the things I want you to play with. Because what'll happen is you're training yourself to do things that you don't believe you can do, and you're doing something new. Okay. So this is what I tell everybody. Your superpower lies in your deepest fear and resistance. I'll tell you again, your superpower lies in your deepest fears and resistance. Your greatest weakness is also your greatest strength. I'm telling you now, across the board, that's what I see. I don't know anybody yet that is not true for. But I love doing energy work. It's one of my favorites. Good morning, Trish. Nardu. I feel like I hang out with Anthony like once a week in the dream realm. It's always interesting. You may. I would love to hear more about that. That sounds fun. I do travel in the astral space, so I see lots of different beings and things. Not most of the people that I run into, some of them are similar to the versions that are in this realm, but most of them are different. But, people can meet up. I haven't really mastered that in any sort of way, but from my understanding is that there is a possibility for people to meet and work together in the astral field. I have seen some people have seen me, and we've talked about it, but I haven't really worked with anybody from this reality. But I do often work with others in other realities. Sometimes I go astral in my sleep, and what happens is I end up on like other timelines, other lands, other planets maybe, and I'm working with other medicine beings. And what we're doing is we're trading healing. We all have a certain amount of wisdom, especially the kind of being that I am here. I'm a seer, and I'm like a really powerful absorber of energy. So I absorb energy from all the other people around me. And what does that do? That builds life within inside of me that I recirculate and reshare. It's like I'm a circulator. I can take in energy. And that's why I always tell people, hey, if you feel real bad, don't be afraid to come, to come here. Like come into the groups, come into the stuff, because I'll take your heavy energy and I'll transform it. I'll turn it back into light, turn it back into love, so that's truly alchemy. That's what alchemy is. I have no fear of anyone's heaviness or any heavy energy because I know what to do with it. And that's what I tell people. There's no bad energy. There's bad ideas is what it is. You can take shitty energy and you can turn it back into light. You can turn it back into love. You just have to choose to. You have to want to do that. You have to want to be able to take that. How does that happen? Through taking our own repeatedly. If you can take your own heavy energy and transform it into light, transform it into acceptance and love and grace, you can do it anybody. But it starts there. Most people, I have no idea how to do that. First, you start with you. You start with you. And that begins with pure honesty, inward honesty. Looking at your behavior and your life and what you're doing and beginning to understand, why is it that I do what I do? What a big question. You ever ask yourself that? Why do I do what I do? And then when you have that question and you repeat that question, you don't try to look for the answer right away. You're repeating the question so it goes into the subconscious mind. Why do I do what I do? Why do I do what I do? I would like to know why I do what I do. And so you're posing that question. You're not looking for the answer. Go about your day. If you practice this consecutively for days, by some point, some people it's really quick, some people it's a week later, all of a sudden you start having awarenesses of your own behavior. You start to understand the choices you're making, the way you're reacting to things. You're starting to see cycles, patterns in behavior, because now you're aware of it. You're paying attention to your behavior. You can even say, I wish to be more aware of my behavior, right? Everybody wants to do that, because if you can do that, you can improve. And that should be the drive for everyone, to be a better person than they were yesterday. Can you build yourself into a greater person than you were yesterday? You can. You don't have to do it all at once, 1%. If you get 1% better today than you were yesterday in some form or way, do that. Okay. And that comes first through understanding your own behavior. I didn't understand mine at all. I had no idea how programmed I was until I really started to look inward at my program. Started to really pay attention to, what am I feeding my mind? What am I watching? What am I listening to? Really understanding and beginning to know that, like, wow, my diet isn't just my food. It's the people I'm around. It's the television I'm watching. It's the music I'm listening to. It's the thoughts that occupy my time and hold space in my reality. All of those things are part of your diet, part of what goes into you. Your subconscious mind hears everything and assumes it to be real. Okay. That's why it's really important to be careful of how we speak, how we first speak inwardly to ourselves. How are you talking to yourself? What are you saying? That's part of, I want to know why I do what I do. The awareness of, what am I saying to myself and what am I agreeing to? You'll be amazed if you start asking yourself those questions, finding out, what am I saying to myself? What's my mental talk? Am I talking to myself in a nice way? This requires your attention to be there. So you have to show up with your attention to, what am I saying to myself? And then along with what am I saying to myself, what am I agreeing to? What's the belief system I'm agreeing to, or the limitations I'm agreeing to? This can take you down the biggest rabbit hole you've ever seen. Okay. What I tell you is don't try to figure it all out once, one step at a time. Let one thing at a time show up. And then what you need to do is love it. It's like, what do you mean love it? Yeah. That's the thing. The parts of us that need healed, the parts of us that need repaired, even your cells, even the physical damage in your body, what does it need? It needs love. And love is a vibration. It's a frequency vibration. How do you enter into that vibration? Practicing gratitude. See how this is all kind of coming full circle? We're going back. We're going back. And so practicing gratitude is sort of like a meditation. And what is a meditation? It's to become familiar with. To meditate means to become familiar with. So if I say to do a gratitude meditation, you're becoming familiar with gratitude. How does that start? It begins first by picturing, using the mental imagery. What are you most grateful for right now? Okay. And then as you may pay attention to what you're most grateful for, you're bringing your awareness to, what does that feel like? Letting go of the idea, letting go of, like, I'm grateful for my wife and my daughter. I'll just start there. How does that feel? Well, right here, I can feel this soft, kind of almost tickly feeling in my belly. And that's my gratitude. I can feel my gratitude. Then from there, what do? I learn how to expand it and embody it. I allow it to embody me. Then I'm really starting to learn, really starting to know what gratitude is. Most people don't actually know. That's the thing. The knowing doesn't come through the mind. The knowing comes through the frequency. Be still and know. Okay. That's where the knowing comes from. You cannot know forgiveness. You can be forgiveness. You really can't know love. That's concept. That's not what it is. You can feel love. Mhm. There's a big difference. You can't mentally know most of what these frequencies are. Mhm. Abundance. You can have a mental picture of what abundance is. Maybe that's money, maybe that's food and shelter and, having all kinds of awesome stuff. Let it be whatever it is, but that's not what it really is. What it really is the feeling. And that's the truth. Once you can really master your feeling, you can call to you absolutely anything. Anything. You can call your happiness to you at any moment if you practice being happy. Happiness isn't in your mind, it's in your heart. It's not what you think it is, it's what you feel it to be. You can choose to be happy at any time. Do you know that? Think about that for a second. We're the only species on the planet that has the ability to regulate our emotions at will. You can take yourself from being frothing pissed to calm in seconds if you wish to, if you want to, and vice versa. You can take yourself from calm to frothing pissed in a second too, 0 to 100 real quick. It works both ways. So it takes training. It takes the ability, it takes the want for you to want to change and be your greatest self. And if that's what you want to be, you can be, and nobody can stop you. Faith says, I returned connecting to a tree at retreat and it showed me all the trees that were there to support me. Lit up like lights on a board. Yeah. Why a lot of people feel a certain way under one tree in an area. I know I have a favorite one to lay under when it isn't 9 degrees. It might be a matching information node. So think of trees more like parts of the Earth's nervous system. It's alive, it grows up out of the ground, and it's feeling. It has a connection into the lower, middle, and upper world, all three levels of being. So it's very powerful. We have the same kind of connection. So we're very much like trees in that way. We have roots that reach into the lower world. We have this trunk, this physical body, that's the middle world. And then we have our mind, which can reach out. We have this that can reach out into a different space. We have this 3-layer ability, just like a tree. So it's common. I tell people to find trees to have a relationship with. Some trees are going to feel more home to us. Okay. There's trees that I've met that I have felt very strong connection with right away. Some where not right away, or sometimes not really at all. There's some trees that aren't communicative or want to communicate. They are living beings. It's alive. They're spirits. They're living spirits to me. When I approach a tree, to me, it's not just this hunk of wood with leaves on it. It's alive. It has life. It has even a personality. Most trees have names. They tell me their names. I have one right in the front of my house. She's about a 60-foot tall blue spruce, and her name is Lenora, which she told me is her name. And I think I found out later that has something to do with sunshine. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Of course, Anthony Golden Sunshine has a tree named Lenora. Lenora name meeting. Let's look at that. Shining light. That's what it means. Lenora is shining light. And that's the tree in my front yard. Now, she's not my primary tree in the area. My primary tree, her name is Matilda. And she is up by the lake. She's up at Bay Village, Huntington Reservation, and she's overlooks the lake. She's right near Cahoon Park. She's huge. She's a really big old oak, and she has some impossible branches, I call them. Some of her branches are as big around as a tree, and they come straight out and sometimes go down and come up. It looks like, how is that? How does that hold itself up? It's like a dang tree holding itself up. But yeah, you'll have different feeling. Different trees they're like people. They feel different. I never met one that's rude like a person, but trees don't have egos either. Nobody wants to be mean or rude. It's just because they're hurt, That's why we don't got to get mad at anybody. If somebody's having a hard time, let's not try to get mad at them. Even if they're treating you really bad, it doesn't have nothing to do with you. It has to do with them, I do my best not to react to people who are angry. It's okay that you're angry. You're hurt. I know. I've been there. I was angry once. I love my tree in my backyard, and I felt the energy from the trees. I bet you did. I have a favorite one as well. Yeah, I think it's good. Go develop a relationship with the tree. I'm telling you now, it's one of the greatest things ever, especially as the summer and the spring comes up, because the tree comes right now. They're kind of sleepy. They still are communicating some great energy, but it's that spring energy. That saiwa is what we call it. That's the earth, the rising earth energy, the energy that's rising from the bottom up. Woof. I love saiwa. I love that beautiful earth spring energy. It feels so good. I mean, that's one thing that I don't mind about winter, because winter means that saiwa. That means that springtime nature energy is coming, and I just love it. And they come to life. And then I love to be a hot sunny day, a soft breeze, and I'll just sit down, lay my back against the tree, and breathe and listen to all the wind moving through her leaves. Shh. Feel the warmth of the sun come through the canopy. It's far out, man. I love trees. So while you were talking about dreams this morning, I had a dream last night that caused a lot of fear, but I know it was trying to tell me something. For some reason, most of my dreams are not enjoyable. Well, we could probably work through that. There's a reason for that. Your dreams you're accessing have everything to do with your vibration. Just like regular life, there's parts that are unenjoyable in the dreamscape. Same thing. You're observing other realities. That's probably what it's trying to show you. If it's putting you in repetitive, unenjoyable dreams, it's trying to teach you how to find within the dream what's enjoyable. There's something in there for you. So you can start to use some of these things. The glass of water trick may work for you. Also, I'll just lay there and I say, I'll remember my dreams. I remember my dreams. I remember my dream. As I fall asleep. That's helped me to be able to become aware of my dream when I'm in my dream. There's times where I haven't been. I've been dreaming and I had no idea I was dreaming. And then I find out, oh crap, I'm dreaming. So there's times I don't know right away, but it's practice to be in there. For a long time, I didn't remember my dreams. Now I'm remembering them a lot, but I think they are telling me I have a lot going on subconsciously that needs worked out. They don't always make sense, right? Don't try to make sense of them, because it's not talking to this part of your mind. That's the more you try to make sense of it, the more it won't make sense to you. Write down just don't try to judge it. Don't say, I think it's this. I think it, because that's an Angela kind of thing. I think it's this. I think it's that. I think. Stop thinking. Feel. I feel my dream. It felt like this. Don't try to make sense of it. That's the ego mind, always trying to take control and make sense. Let go of control. Go into feeling. And then what you can do is I would recommend for you, if you're starting to remember your dreams, something I did for a while was dream journal. Pretty much keep a notebook right next to your bed. And when you wake up in the morning, jot down some of the things. Because, when you first wake up, you remember a lot of your dream and then not so much. By you practicing this, you're teaching yourself how to retain the information when it comes back. It's retention of information. So try that out. I've also been having some major revealing dreams. Me too. I've been having great ones. Great ones. Last night I was doing all kinds of fun stuff. I was playing with some shamans in another realm, another reality. And last night was one of the dreams where I could not fly like flap. It was just kind of more like levitate, move around wherever I want to in space without any hesitations. That's not real common for me. Angela, I could help you understand how to break it down for you to interpret. Start by the feeling. Hey, that's what I just said. Stop trying to figure it out. Feel about it. Thank you, Sifu. I've been practicing gratitude for the abundance I already have and trying to say yes to everything that is good for me as much as possible. I'm feeling something there, Faith. Let me feel about that for a second. Mm-hmm. So practicing gratitude's great. I mean, you want to practice gratitude just for being alive because it's a vibration. You don't have to have it for any specific thing, but if that's what you're doing, that's okay. You can say that. I'm grateful for the abundance I have. I'm trying to say yes. What does that mean? So fix those words. I'm saying yes to everything that is good for me. And you're saying as much as possible. So you've added a bunch of limitations there. You want to ask yourself, why am I adding limitations there? That's fear. So it's coming through in your language. You will look at that. Look at your sentence. I've been practicing gratitude for the abundance I already have. So what that means is it's hard for me to find gratitude for the abundance I already have. Good. So keep working on that. And then I'm trying to, but I can't say yes to everything that is good for me as much as possible. So you want to pay attention. There's a limitation there. You're creating a psychological limit, normal human being kind of thing. But that's right there is in the words. The energy you've transferred into the words is the exact energy that holds you from going to where you want to go. Hope that helps. Thank you, Jill. There was definitely fear, but when I started taking other parts of the dream apart, I noticed some details that gave a little more clarity. I could use some help, though. Shifu knows what she's doing. She might not believe that sometimes, but I do. I believe in you, Shifu. My last few dreams have been floating in an isolation chamber. So do you mean like, have you ever been to a float tank, Nardu? Have you ever went into one of those sensory deprivation tank? I recommend it. I think you really like it because if you're having dreams about it, I think that's what it's showing you. Very, very kind of healing to the nervous system, the mind, and if you can heal your mind and your nervous system, this essentially brings you into closer connection with source or God. Every time I heal myself a little bit more, the more connection I feel like I have to the Father or to the higher power. I don't tell anybody what that's supposed to be. When I say Father, I don't mean a guy on a cloud. That's not what I mean. I mean the energy, the divine masculine energy of creation that meets the divine feminine energy of creation and creates us. You need both forms of energy come together to create this reality. The reality in which we are all perceiving is dual. It's got cause and effect. It's got what we are perceiving as positive and negatives. It's dualistic. What is not dualistic is our mind. We don't have to have a dualistic mind or soul. And by having that helps us understand the flow of the two poles, the yin yang energy, and helps us to find balance. Otherwise, one becomes one or the other. Like my previous versions, I was disconnected from my divine feminine energy, from my trauma. I was very much into, it was there, it was just kind of dormant in pain. And then I had more of an overdeveloped kind of masculine energy, which is what we would call like toxic masculinity. That's not that masculinity is toxic. It's just it can be used in a way that is toxic and be non-helpful to others. And the word toxic, I try to stay away from it. Damaged is the word. Hurt. Because when we're labeling other people, you're a toxic person, that makes you toxic. So be careful what you're saying. Don't call other people shit. Don't do that. Just like we're living in a time now where it's really hip on the internet for people to call like, I'm suffering from narcissist abuse and you're a narcissist and you're a narcissist, this, and people are all in that kind of thing where it's this big, what you're doing is you're telling yourself that anyone you label and condemn, you're labeling, condemning yourself because your subconscious mind hears you and it thinks it's talking about itself. That's putting nicks on that soul, making work for you to take things apart. So be impeccable with your word. Be loving. Yeah. Thank you, Tony. I agree. It's about feeling. You know me. I definitely overthink sometimes. That's okay. That's not a problem. That's your attention. You're giving your attention to the thoughts. What if you give more of the attention to the feeling? Your ability to overthink is an energy sensitivity. You also have the ability to turn it the other way. Like I'm telling you, everything's that is some sort of issue is actually a superpower. It just is how you're giving your attention to your energy of your life. Then it's why am I do what I do? Why am I trying to figure everything out? Why do I have to try to control the outcome? Why am I so afraid of the unknown? I don't have control anyway. Why don't I just let go? and let life take me where it's going. Then with that, you can take the incessant thinking because you're just connecting to the analytical thoughts, and then you can connect to the world around you. Wow, everything's alive and beautiful. This is how we kind of move through. It's like, your diagnosis could probably turn into ADHD, but I don't go by diagnoses. No, not yet. I recommend it, man. That's over in Rocky River. I think they're 80 some dollars a pop now. So it's not too bad. I'm going to put it on the short list. I'll do it within 3 months. Now I'm excited, dude. It's fun. I'll talk about it a little bit. Actually, I have one. I have a voucher for it. Need to plan it, need to schedule it. But they're really fun. So the water is like pretty much the same temperature as your body temperature. So when you get in the water, it's perfect. Like, it's not too hot, it's not too cold. Well, the first thing is you come in and you take a nice shower. You shower everything off. And then there's like this big pod, looks like something from Mork and Mindy, if anybody's old enough to remember that. It looks like a spaceship, small spaceship. And inside there's water. There's water. It's probably 12 inches deep. There's a light in there. And so the water has like 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt in it. So it makes you very buoyant. This is what causes you to float effortlessly. So you get in there. You use earplugs. You don't want the salt water going in your ear canal. So they give you these cool spongy earplugs you stick in there, fills up your ear. And then you just lay back. And then, so, it's like when your hands are over your ears, you can only hear your inner body. Put your hands over your ears and breathe. You can hear your breath really well. So it's just you and your breath. The lights go out. You can close the lid on lights go out in the room outside. You close the lid if you want to. It gets a little stuffy in there for me. Sometimes it'll interrupt me and I'll have to crack the lid open, let some of the air out. Sometimes I just start with the lid cracked open. But it goes dark in there and you're just floating. And then as you're floating, there's some music playing if you want music to play the first little bit. And then it goes quiet. And you're just there. And then, I can't explain what happens next. It's different for everybody. But you're having all of your senses just pretty much deprived. You're just there. The first time I did it, it was early. It was before anywhere close to this stage of awakening. I had a lot of fear. Being naked in the dark, I felt really vulnerable and I was really uncomfortable at first. So it took me a good 15, 20 minutes of my first trip to be able to relax, to feel okay with being vulnerable. But I did, and then it taught me how to be vulnerable. So that was a really kind of beautiful thing. I've had several different types of emotional and physical healing come to me through these pods. They definitely have a great way to help us connect to spirit, connect to source, because it's just shutting everything else off. It's like hitting that reset button. So you spend an hour in there and then you get out and you shower off, take the salt off, and you just feel really awesome. It's really healing for your body and everything, just to float there, the warmth, the circulation. So there's a lot of benefits to it, but in the metaphysical space, oh my goodness, so much fun. So I recommend it. Recommend the pods. Recommend the sensory deprivation float tanks. One of the things Anthony is teaching me is I need to be very specific with how I text something, a practice in what I really mean to say. I could so much more about this. Yeah. See, this comes through my own teachings that have come to me, because something that's consistently I try to work on is my language, my ability to communicate. Now, lots of people come up to me and they'll tell me things like, wow, you're a master communicator. The way that you can exchange information is uncanny. Like, even my own teacher has said that to me. You have a really powerful gift for explaining the unexplainable. Right. So, but it's still not easy. So it's through that it's through that training. I've had to train myself over time to figure out how the words are the energy forms, changing energy into words. I think a lot of people get stuck there, especially people who are strong feeling. There's a lot of feel. Trying to translate that into words sometimes can be difficult. And then you go, maybe I got nothing to say, kind of thing. What I say is keep trying, always keep going. And also being aware, are you being really specific about how you're talking to yourself? If you become more specific about how you talk to you, this will help you become more specific about how you talk to others. Faith says, thank you for picking out the energy in my sentences. It is helpful, although my brain doesn't always know how to change it. It's good to recognize the energy. That's it. Don't worry about your brain trying to change it. You have a strong, wonderful brain, a powerful mind. Great. Sometimes you just want to let that get out. I understand. You just want to let that get out of the way sometimes. Feel about it. Really pay, and that's the thing. It's attention, paying attention. What am I saying? What am I really saying? And what am I agreeing to? Look at what the dialogue, what's happening in the internal talking. What are you saying? So that happened to come out through your outward sentences. So now I'd say, what are you saying inside? And then I'll help you become more aware. You know, it's not so much changing it. You're becoming aware of what am I saying? That changes on its own. That's the mistake to think, oh, I just changed the words. Well, no, I have to change my understanding. Why am I saying those words? See what I'm saying? Then you change the words. Then you can first understanding, what am I saying? I'm saying I'm not good enough. I'm not powerful enough. I don't have what it takes or something. And then saying, okay, I recognize where I'm cutting myself down. And then start to understand, well, why do I believe that? Do I really believe that? And then for most of us, you're going to find the deeper you go into questioning yourself that you don't believe anything that you're saying about yourself. These are all judgments I've made. And then you can start to install new words. I am enough. I have all that it takes to be anything I want. If not me, then who? That's what I would ask you, Faith. If not you, then who? And if not now, then when? Perfect questions, I think those are. Good morning, internet going in and out. That's okay. We're at the end now. We're at past an hour. I will want to get on. I always like to come in and share at least an hour with the community. Excuse me. Come and talk about some things. We had some pretty cool discussions today about dreams and lucid dreaming, and a little bit about astral travel and some other things. It was a really good morning. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy you all so much. So again, what I would tell you is you want to come on and visit us at one of our online meetings. I also am asking everyone to share these things, okay? We need more people to come into them. How we can get more people? We need to share. So please share the events we're doing. Share them. Share our page. Tell more people about what we're doing. We're trying to assemble a big spirit family in the world, and I need your help. I need your help. I also need your help financially. If you can donate a couple dollars to help us on our mission, that would be great. Okay, that would be awesome. And also that puts you in divine reciprocity. I sit here and give you all this energy and wisdom. All I'm asking for you is a couple dollars, you know, throw a tip in the hat. Okay, that goes a long way. That helps us to continue our journey. Most of the work we do, if you don't know, most of it is free. I've done 4 free sessions this week. Full-blown 2-3 hour sessions I've been doing with people, just whoever kind of comes up and calls to me. So also I want to put that out there. If you or someone else you know is in deep need of mindset change, if they're really unhealthy and want to change their lives and want to transform, send them my way. I want to help as many people as possible, and I'm very good at it. I'm very proficient at what I do. I'm very confident in my medicine gift, and I'm just going to continue to use it and spread it into the world. It's been great. It's helped me to come here and be with you all, and I couldn't ask for anything better than that, because this is a fantastic soul family, and I'm super blessed to have the people I have in my life and in my reality. So I want to send a loving thank you to you. Yes, you. I want to thank you. I want to praise you. I want to commend you for a job well done, for showing up here today and sitting here and being in this space and helping us all learn together, all connect together. It's not just good for you. It's not just good for me. It's good for everybody. So I want to thank you so much. Mine too, Brianna. Shit, my third eye is vibrating right now. Mine too. Mine too. Brianna says, I enjoy the energy from this amazing soul family. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you all. I love you all so much. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Wednesday night is the SOAR, the the live stream that I do with Zane. That's SOAR, SOAR, Spiritual Odyssey of Awakening and Renewal. Haha, how fun is that? So Zane and I will be going on an odyssey tomorrow and discussing the Inca. So if you'd like to hear more about the Inca and how, our tradition of shamanism predates the Inca, before the Inca, and part of the Inca. So if you want to learn more about the Inca Empire, about the amazing things they did, it's probably some really awesome stories. Don Zano's got great stories, and I'm just going to peel them right out of him so that way he can share with the world. Zane is a great, great teacher, a fantastic teacher. He's pretty much my only like primary human teacher, although I consider everyone my teacher, but he's like my primary kind of mentor in human terms. Most of my other teachers are in spirit form, and that's how it started for me. SOAR. And then there's a bunch of other in-person events. Is going to be the 16th, which is today, right? The 16th, Trippy Hippie, but that's sold out. Trippy Hippie in Amherst, sold out. The next thing we're doing is the 20th, a holistic fair, Harmonic Journeys Holistic Fair, and that's at West Shore Unitarian Church in Rocky River. I'll be there doing a public speaking between 1:30 and 2:30. So if you'd like to come in and sit for my speech, that would be great, 1:30 to 2:30. There'll be a bunch of different vendors there and everything. It's usually a pretty cool thing. So I recommend that. If you want to come check out like a metaphysical, holistic kind of thing, a fair, these are fun. They're a good time. And then we're going to be full moon, Sacred Waters. I love the full moon ceremonies we do. Full moon ceremony at Sacred Water, 7 p.m. And then Saturday, the 27th, we're doing an ice bath mini retreat at Old Brooklyn Nutrition. Okay. There's more events coming soon. Keep an eye out on our website and all other platforms. Okay. Brianna says, I can't wait for SOAR tomorrow. They're great. Me and Zane have a good time doing those. I'm glad that we put those together. And I'll have him talk a little bit tomorrow about the apprenticeship that he is offering. He has an apprenticeship that he's offering for shamanic training. I also have my own shamanic training courses. And I'm going to be restarting the first level again to get another group, but I'm also going to be starting the second level. So anybody who's ready and wants to begin some shamanic training, it's an 8-week course. You show up once a week. They're about an hour and a half each class. You will have homework and things you have to do or get during the time. So it's kind of involved, but that's the idea. It's not for just like the spiritually curious. This is for people that are really committed and want to go to their next level of ascension and spiritual awakening. What it does is I'm working and Zane's working and the other shamans of the world. We're here working. We're here to create more leaders. That's what we're here for. Because a true leader, a really good leader, that's our goal. We don't want more followers. We want to create more leaders. Okay. And that's really where my aim is. I want to help people who are talented and gifted in many ways. I want to help them become their best self. And this doesn't mean just necessarily spiritual workers. This means sometimes I do a lot of work in the corporate space, and in the corporate space, I show up in a different way. All right. So I want to put that out there too. Maybe you work somewhere and you would love to have some corporate wellness where you work. Maybe you can get us in touch with your human resources. That's usually who we go through. We talk to the HR and then they see if they have potential in the budget, for this employee service. Now, not all companies offer that sort of thing, but, maybe we could talk to your HR people and maybe they would want to. All right. Because think about that. Imagine if we could come into your workplace, sit down with everybody. We could talk about breath and mindset, talk about some things that help everyone become better people. Okay. And then work through some examples. Imagine how that could change your workplace, right? People operating in a different sort of mindset. That could be really, really, really beneficial. All right. So I think that's it. I think I'm going to jump out of here. I love you all so much. Brianna says I'm going to a self-defense class. Awesome. I love it. I hope you all have a beautiful day. I want to thank you all so much for being here this morning. or Ask the Shaman. It's been another great show. Feel free to reach out with any questions, comments, or concerns. Remember to breathe and be love. Be love, okay? Be loving to you and be loving to everything and everyone around you, because you deserve it. We all deserve it. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.